we need to talk about Chiana. In Part 1, we talked about her behaviors in Farscape, the original series. In Part 2 here, we turn to Chiana in the Farscape comic books, books which not everyone has read, but should. Chiana is at the center of a surprising plot twist midway through the comic books, one that upsets some fans. Because Farscape the original series was prematurely cancelled by the Frauenitz German firm who bought Sci-Fi Channel, the Farscape writers never had the opportunity to show us this plot twist in its entirety, which explains so much about who Chiana is and what motivates her. As mentioned in Part 1 of this video, Chiana very often relates to others through sex. Some describe her as
some indelicate whore.
But Chiana is more complex than that. Chiana is guilty of numerous indiscretions, but is also a loyal companion to her friends on Moya. This contradiction is partly explained by Chiana in an internal monologue in the 5th set of books. But first, some of the story leading up to that. And warning, these are spoilers, so you may want to read the books first to fully appreciate the story. Okay? Now, at first, thinking Dargo is dead, he's not. Chiana embarks on a sexual relationship with Jotham, though she eventually admits she is just using Jotham to dull the pain of losing Dargo. Meanwhile, a mysterious person is trying to kill Aaron and Crichton's son. Chiana, being the devoted companion, helps Crichton track down the assailant. Chiana, being the expert seductress, tries to get at the guy to figure out who hired him to kill little Dargo. Chiana, of course, is successful at the seduction, but runs into a big problem. Falling in love with him, Rowan, I don't know how it's pronounced, and he falls in love with her. This places Chiana in the impossible situation of being loyal to Crichton, Aaron, and their son, but also loyal to her new connection with Rowan. And here's the important thing. It is not simply a feeling Chiana has. It is a soul connection. Chiana explains this in the internal monologue that Rowan is Kreshta, similar to what we humans call soulmates. For Chiana, and perhaps all Nabari, there are 3 levels of love, and this means 3 levels of commitment. She doesn't explain how sexual recreation fits in with this, but we can guess that it is, like peacekeeper recreation, entails no lasting commitment. It is just fun. Fiercine love, such as she feels for her companions on Moya, is a commitment, one she deepened with Dargo. But here we get an explanation of why she sabotaged her relationship with Dargo. So I wouldn't have to tell Dargo that he wasn't Kreshta. Obviously, Chiana still took a cowardly way out, but it wasn't simply a fear of commitment. It was, in a way, a commitment to this belief in 3 levels of love. Chiana is willing to commit to Rowan, who is Kreshta, but not at the expense of her other commitments to her friends or Firstine. She tries to walk the line between the 2 commitments, trying to bargain with Rowan, but fiercely keeping her commitment to her friends. Some would demand to know how Chiana could choose to be with a mercenary willing to take on a contract hit on a child. Chiana would reply that it is not a choice. He is the person she is meant to be with, not a relationship she chose, but one she feels she must accept. Crichton and Aaron actually have something similar. Chiana does go to be with Rowan, while also choosing to defend Crichton and Aaron's son, and this shows her conscious commitment to others and perhaps helps us to understand why things unfolded with Dargo the way they did. Some loose ends at the end of the Peacekeeper Wars are resolved in the comic books, none of which I will give away here. The comics don't resolve everything, though, and creates new mysteries, such as the new relationship for Chiana. What happens with Chiana and Rowan is not clear, except that we are given a hint that this is not the last we are to see of Rowan. We know that the comic books set up the Farscape revival that is coming, and we know that Chiana will be a part of it. Gigi Edgley would never let Brian Henson do it without her. And I strongly suspect that Chiana and Roween will be a key element in the revival, which we know will focus on Dargo's son Crichton, now an adult. No one knows except Roween who wanted Dargo the Younger dead, but that threat probably is still there for him years later. We shall see. And we shall see what role Chiana has to play and how much we have to talk about her as Farscape continues.